Hey kids, we're a couple of annoyed grunt boys, and this is the 138th Simpsons podcast.
Ride a painted pony, let the spinning wheel spin.
Thank you, blood and tears. Sorry to hear about Sweat.
That's right, we're the official podcast that explores The Simpsons from seasons 11 and beyond, and the newest episodes when they come out. But, we've actually already done season 11, and there's plenty of other podcasts to explore the quote-unquote golden age of The Simpsons, and Wheel of Random has trapped us and forced us to watch the show in such a manner. And, we've done this for a while, and so we thought we'd go back and do some spring cleaning and revisit some of the very early episodes that we reviewed, and this one is no different. And I say we because I am one annoyed grunt boy named Steve, and with me, as always, is the other annoyed grunt boy,
Craig.
Hello, Craig. How are we doing this spring day?
The allergies are getting to us because, it is spring, and especially when you're doing a lot of cleaning, there's a lot of dust.
It's true.
And it just gets in your nose, and it makes your audio quality and your dialogue sound shitty.
Yes.
Why the long pause?
Oh, I'm a polar bear.
God damn it. Can we get crickets over here? Crickets for... Yep, okay, thank you.
No, it's harkening back to our original record where our audio quality wasn't so good, especially mine, it seems. I still don't know where I got such a big tin can to record from. But yeah, as we like to do, we like to go back and kind of review our original record. And Craig, do you have any clips for us to check out?
Well, Steve, I have the original record here, so I'm just going to scroll through and hit play, and wherever it lands, that's what we got to listen to for a couple seconds.
All right.
I landed at 31:26.
And that everyone's kind of glad that he's dead, but everyone will miss the geezer Rock, and they did a fun parallel about how the Rock is old, he's old, and this and that. And Burns says that he's 89 years old, which is a lie that he's been telling for years and years. And then when he finds out, he does a spit take, which is a weird visual gag where he dehydrates himself.
It looked like Ren or Stimpy, didn't it? Like with the drooping mouth.
Yes, it did.
Which one's which? Ren is Ren and Stimpy is Stimpy. All right, figured it out, guys.
There you go. Yep.
So there was your long pause.
Man, we were not good.
Here's what happened. If you also listen to a little bit of talking over each other, I remember early on we were using an app that would record. It was back when it was called Anchor FM.
Before a big media company took it over.
There you go. And it was essentially just like recording our phone conversation. So we had little shitty mics hooked up to our phones, and we would just record that, and it recorded just both conversations into one. So we didn't do professional recording where I'm recording my audio only and Steve's recording his audio only. So things like that can be edited and there's no talking over each other, which a lot of times happen. It sounded like sometimes either myself is very rude or you're really rude because you're talking over me and I'm talking over you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think those pauses aren't natural. They're just you responding to my question and then I'm talking over your response because the way the audio worked of recording. Because again, we were just using really crappy microphones and just recording on our cell phones.
It's so amazing how far we've come in this time. And also, I just feel like our whole process is so much more streamlined. Because listening to that, it felt like I was in a hurry to get done. And I feel bad because it's this, how that happened, whatever. And I feel like we take more time with this now.
Well, this is also pre-script. We obviously write a script, so we don't pause like you did. And not just you, but I would do the same thing because we kind of were either watching the episode and just saying, and then it looks like Burns is doing this. And then Smithers, then Smithers did this. So that's kind of how it went.
Yeah, not great.
Let's go to, it landed on 48:23.
Stupid mobile transport vehicle women.
They probably couldn't think of they were probably relying on the visual gag of okay, so a car couldn't do it and a giant helicopter couldn't do it. So a guy on a Segway, which was probably relatively new at that time too. This is 2004. So they're maybe just hoping for the visual of just like, I mean, Homer could have been like, stupid, what the hell is that? You know?
That's awful.
Yeah.
We must be talking about how Homer is saying stupid women driver and stupid women helicopter pilot in this episode. And we're talking about how that was really sexist of him saying that, but obviously that's the joke. We were pretty dumb back then, Steve.
We're much smart now. Better. Good.
I'm going to go back to a little bit more towards the beginning. I'm going to go, what? How about 10 minutes? Here we go. Let's see what's 10 minutes.
I think we still are. Yeah.
Okay. After the 45-minute mark here. Let's go to this. Steve, what year is this? What year are we at here?
The year we are looking at is 2005.
2005. Okay, Steve. So
actually, it is. Yeah.
2005. No.
2004.
Yes. We're the week of
March 23rd.
No, May 23rd.
May 23rd.
May 23rd, 2004 is when this episode aired, which is Fraudcast News. So for the week of movies...
Okay, so that end there, the blah, blah, blah. Like, we edit that out now. Like, we do still talk like this, by the way.
Oh, of course.
But we got to refine it and truncate it. The whole forgetting the year, we would have just retake that. I mean, maybe some listeners like that kind of stuff. And some of the mistakes that we do keep in the podcast are funny. That's why we do keep it in. But that one is just, with me going, blah, 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 like, I don't think it serves the podcast well.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because so much of what we left in, like, I should know what year the episode came out.
That you're going to talk about.
Right. I don't know. It's amazing how much effort we put into that, and that was the result, and now how much effort we put in now, and how much better the resulting podcast is. So I really enjoy this, even though it is kind of, as the kids say, cringe, because it is hard to listen to us back then, but also it's good to know where we've grown.
Yeah, editing is key.
Mm-hmm. Editing is wit.
Back then, we didn't really edit. I think we would timestamp like something like, oh, edit this part out of the podcast. If it was like very egregious or just went off the rails, sometimes that would be just get rid of that. And nothing like awful or whatever. You weren't going like, you know, you wouldn't say something like, oh, let's make fried chicken out of cum. We would never say stuff like that. So like we would take that and like edit that kind of stuff out. So
yeah, like even the thought of something that disgusting, I wouldn't even think of. And I know you wouldn't either. And so like to even bring it up is really weird and really gross. We
make like, sometimes obviously we make penis and cum jokes on that, but like that's very light and silly. But the fact of like ingesting it like in a non-sexual way is just weird.
Yeah, I mean, that is really strange and kind of messed up. I'm glad we've come far from that.
Yeah, totally. And it sounded like I was trying to get into like what we still currently do and talk about the pop culture of the year that this episode came out.
That's right. So let's get into that mindset and go all the way back to 2005.
Steve, I'm pretty sure it was 2004.
Wait, you're right. It's 2004. May 23rd, 2004. What was the number one movie in the box office?
Beady. Why, it's Shrek 2, Buck. I don't know. Because when I was going, the blah, blah, blah kind of sounded like the little robot from Buck Rogers.
Yeah, I get it.
Twinkie.
Twinkie. I like Twinkies. I don't like Shrek.
Is that a shirt?
I think that could be a shirt. It could be like the Drake meme, where there's...
Makes no sense.
Yeah, it's just the animated version of me like saying no to Shrek, but saying yeah to a
two characters that don't mingle. Although I feel like at this time Shrek's face was probably on a box of Twinkies.
Oh yeah, probably with a green filling.
Yeah, made of his cum, which is green.
And I was like, no, I don't like that. In fact, I ordered a Twinkie at a movie theater recently. One of these fancy movie theaters where they bring you the food. And I was like, I would love a Twinkie. And the server, they were also the person who helped me find my seat, brought me this gross Twinkie with green frosting. And I was like, no, set that on fire. I don't want it.
It's funny you say that, because that number one song for the week of this episode was called Burn by Usher.
Whoa.
Yeah. Steve, that's freezing, stiff female dog of a plane of you.
Why, thank you. I am a freezing, rigid female dog of an airliner, aren't I?
What was the hot rock alternative that week?
Why, it was Cold Hard Bitch by Jet.
You know, I've been getting into a lot of old TV lately. And I went back and started watching some Andy Griffith. And the sequel series, you know, like where it takes place in the town. And you got like little Opie. And there's an episode where he was in the local diner and he wanted some chicken wings, but he didn't want the drums. He wanted the other pieces of chicken wings.
Oh, that's interesting. What was the number one song on the country's chart for no reason?
It was Mayberry by Rascal Flatts.
Well done. Because another thing about Mayberry that I really appreciated was, you had, true patriots. We had, Opie, we had Andy, we had Don Knotts, and then we had Ampy. And unlike some Australian singers, she was a true USA stalwart. She just bled red, white, and blue, and she liked to dance. What was the number one dance song on the charts?
Red-Blooded Woman by Kylie Minogue.
That's right. Alrighty. Let's get into this week's episode, Fraudcast News, in which Mr. Burns buys up all the media outlets in Springfield in an attempt to polish his image. Lisa starts her own newspaper. All right, let's give it a watch. We'll be right back. And we're back. Today we're talking about Fraudcast News, the 22nd episode of the 15th season. It is episode 335 in the show's run. It originally aired on May 23rd, 2004. Your nerd code is FABF18. It was written by Don Payne, directed by Bob Anderson, and your showrunner is Al Jean.
All right, Don Payne, born May 5th, 1964, died March 26, 2013. He was a writer and producer and wrote 18 of The Simpsons, and 9 of those with John Frink. And they met together, studying at the University of California, Los Angeles. That's America, by the way.
Ah, yes.
And so they began their careers writing a short-lived sitcom, Hope and Gloria. And later, Payne would write feature films like My Super Ex-Girlfriend, Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, Thor, and its sequel, Thor Dark World. And if you want to know about Thor, we reviewed it on our Patreon.
We did, and it was good.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, like we said, he left us in March of 2013 of something stupid, and it's called cancer, bone cancer. We'll say it on this podcast. We've said it before, but fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer, yeah. It's a bold statement, but we stand by it.
Like, I wonder how much Payne would get in, like, the MCU. I mean, because he clearly is a fan of comic books, I'm assuming, because the Super Ex-Girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, is, like, how he probably had aspirations of becoming a comic book writer. And so he wrote My Super Ex-Girlfriend, and maybe he even, like, had hopes of becoming, like, a comic book writer someday. But then he got to go to the big game and write Thor and, like, join the MCU. So, yeah, it's amazing what he could have done.
Do you think Don Payne was kind of what I wish I was? And, like, if I actually put forth effort in life?
I mean, very possibly.
Like, he got to write on The Simpsons, and then he gets to write for superhero movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'd want to do.
It's like when I think about Scott Aukerman, like, that's just what I wish if I had aspirations, like, I could have been a TV writer and then just, like, have a podcast empire. I mean, not to say that we don't have a podcast empire, but
yeah,
it's a small empire.
What about Conan, the podcast king?
That's true.
Yeah, and wrote on Simpsons and SNL, but then had his own TV show. Who wants that?
Nobody.
So yeah, Don Payne, like I said, 18 episodes, 9 with Frink, and we reviewed 11. Technically 11 plus 1. because this is the second time we're talking about this episode. The first episode, he has a credit with John Freak and Rob Luzemnik and Caroline O'Meady from Treehouse of Horror 11. And we reviewed Simpsons Tall Tales, The Bart Wants What It Wants, Old Yeller Belly, The Wandering Juvie, Thank God It's Doomsday, Simpsons Christmas Stories, Little Big Girl, Loved Springfield Style, Labor Pains. He wrote that with Mitchell H. Glazer. And we still have a few more episodes left.
Scary Tales Can Come True was the Treehouse of Horror that he wrote.
For the one we reviewed.
Yes.
That was our 15th episode. So that could be a future spring break clean episode, but maybe not until next spring.
Yes, or maybe the spring after. But we begin this one with a couch gag, and the family members fly in dressed as popular anime characters. We have Bart as Astro Boy, Homer as Ultraman, Lisa as Sailor Moon, Marge as the princess from Battle of the Planets, and Maggie from Pikachu from Pokemon. And they all land on a bench, and behind them on that bench is some Japanese kanji that writes out The Simpsons in Japanese.
Yeah, that's kind of superhero coded. Do you think Payne had any influence on that, or just a coincidence?
I feel like at the time, I know that anime has had a long popularity in the Western world, and nowadays it's very, commonplace, but I think back at this time it was less common. Like, people knew Sailor Moon and probably Pikachu, but, maybe he's a fan of anime as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like I said with superhero movies. There was such a niche nerdiness with superhero stuff back in the 90s and early 2000s. I mean, of course, we were starting to get the X-Men and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man's coming out, but anime itself was still kind of like a taboo for kids to be into. Like, it's perfectly fine to be into, and the kids loved it. But at school, you could be bullied for that. But now it's like,
oh yeah.
Now I imagine if you don't watch anime, you get bullied.
Yeah, you're reading your comic book in the wrong direction.
It's like kids now, oh, weirdo, you play football? Nerd.
You like sex with girls?
I wonder if that is, do you think the jocks are now like the nerds of schools? I
think maybe, yeah. Because, they're kind of dorky, playing sports. That's not cool.
I'm a lover of both worlds. And I love my baseball, and I'm very nerdy about it. So, yeah, it's such a nerdum. So, look, everyone's a nerd. Let's just get over it.
It's true. And let's get to what we're nerdiest about, The Simpsons. And let's get on with this episode.
It begins, as it always does, with Kent Brockman reporting live from Geezer Rock, the man-shaped mountain crag. Not to be confused with the mountain-shaped me. I'm more of a hill, a hamburger hill. It's a popular tourist attraction. Did you know that, Steve? It was forged decades ago of wind and rain to create the profile of an old man's face. And up until now, has been the place for local teens to have sex and or commit suicide.
Hopefully not at the same time. One such teen is Jeremy Friedman, a.k.a. the squeaky voice teen, who screams at the heavens, "Why did they cancel Futurama?" as he leaps to his death. And providing that suicide usually isn't the answer, Futurama would go on to be renewed 3 or 4 more times after this aired. And also, Jeremy lands safely in the convertible, crushing the boyfriend of a teenage girl who says that he better be good at making out, and then they kiss passionately all over her lover's dead body. But the squeaky voice teen getting a little action isn't the only newsworthy event happening at Geezer Rock, as we'll hear in this clip from Kent Brockman.
Geezer Rock will be officially designated a national landmark.
What's the big deal about a rock that looks like a dude? I've got a dad that looks like a monkey.
Bart, you promised you'd stop making that comparison. Per our agreement.
Knock-kneed home renters. Can't we thin this herd with some smallpox-infected blankets?
We're already immune, you jerk!
Gee, I never noticed that before. He's got a tree in his eye.
If that tree gets too big, it'll ruin the beauty of that rock. We'll lose tourists. And then who will buy my roadside corn?
You don't sell roadside corn.
There's a lot you don't know about me, Marge. A lot that would shock you.
I don't know if we're immune to smallpox anymore.
We got more viruses to be worried about than smallpox, Steve.
Yeah, we got the big pox.
Ah, yes, Geezer Rock. Now available on Tapped Out.
Indeed.
I mean, we probably said that back when we recorded this, but no tapped out for you anymore. Sorry, kids.
I like Homer selling roadside corn. It's fun to imagine.
Much like Marge, I don't know a lot about him.
You know, he has his sugar supply. Maybe he can sell kettle corn.
Corn is nature's sugar, Steve.
It really is. I mean, it's in everything, and it is sweet, and it's good. I like corn.
I like corn syrup and everything.
You're in luck, because we're in America.
I'm pretty good. I've been pretty good the past years of looking up things if they have corn syrup and not purchasing them.
High fructose corn syrup, which is common in ingredients, isn't so good, but I will use like Caro corn syrup in some of my like baking adventures and like my candy making, and it's really helpful. Like it binds things well, and it has a mild sweet taste. I'm not like getting paid by Big Corn or anything, but like, I don't know. I think it has its applications.
Use it sparingly is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you're baking a confection, a candy, don't try to make it healthy.
If I'm making like 8 candy bars, say, and I use a third of a cup of corn syrup between the 8 bars, that's like not that much, really.
Sure. You could maybe even mix the oils if you want to, like add a little corn or coconut.
And I'll do that. And I'll add like maple syrup or like honey to kind of balance it out. And I'll also add more depth of flavor.
Yeah, when I'm doing stuff with sugar, a lot of times I substitute the sugar, but with, like you said, honey or molasses or maple syrup.
Ooh,
but,
yeah.
But like, real maple syrup, not your Buttersworth.
No.
Steve, the 2 remaining members of 70s jazz rock group Blood, Sweat, and Tears perform Spinning Wheel in honor of the rock until Mayor Quimby interrupts them, thanking Blood and Tears, and then goes on to send his condolences about Sweat. But before Quimby introduces the Undersecretary of the Interior, who declares the face-shaped cliff a national landmark, he welcomes honor student Lisa Simpson to read a poem that she wrote.
Lisa begins to read her appreciation in verse, and the crowd offers polite applause. And then in the background, we see Homer scaling Geezer Rock in an attempt to remove the tree growing from its eye. He declares that he's doing something that he's never done before, help out an old man. So he yanks at the offending tree, causing cracks to appear all over the face, like the webbing of a cracked windshield.
As Lisa utters the first line of her loving ode, Geezer Rock begins to rumble and shake. So Homer runs on a stage and tells Lisa that they need to leave immediately. So she complains that she didn't get to read her poem. So Homer offers one of his own, run fast or lose your ass. So the rock makes a pained expression and crumbles into many smaller rocks, crashing towards the crowd below.
So Monty Burns is buried in the rock avalanche, and Smithers runs to rescue him. And after picking up one rock, Waylon declares Burns to be gone. And he had big plans for the night ahead, too. He's going to finally show off his employer the tattoo on his chest featuring his smiley face as well as Monty's, with the words, "Boss of my heart," in a heart between them. So Waylon is left sobbing, and on the drive home, Lisa is upset as well, until Marge gives her an inspiring idea. Also in this clip that we're about to hear, we'll learn that Smithers' sadness was all for nothing.
I can't believe that historic rock is gone.
My poem has become an elegy. An elegy no one will ever hear.
Well, at least some good came out of today.
Bart, you're grounded for a year.
I'll just pay the fine.
Okay, $3.
Why don't you publish your poem?
Publish it myself? Why not? I could put out a whole newspaper dedicated to the rock. I'd be a publisher just like Katharine Graham.
Or that lady who wheels Larry Flint around.
Mr. Burns, perhaps it's best you were snatched away before time could diminish your beauty.
Stop your wailing, Waylon. I'm alive. Oops. That stays in.
Sir, you're alive. But how?
Because of my svelte physique, I was able to fit in a narrow air pocket.
In the beginning of that clip, when Marge says, "I'm glad that old rock is dead," I really thought she was going to go for a Burns dead joke. I'm so glad that old rock is dead, and Geezer Rock was a shame too.
Oh, yeah. I like that. She doesn't have any ill will towards anyone in Springfield, but Mr. Burns might be the exception.
Yeah, like she drew his tiny hog.
Oh, that was supposed to be tiny?
I mean, she drew his massive.
Oh, right. I mean,
impressive hog.
Compared to Homer, of course. I mean,
of course, yeah.
Aren't Homer and Ned supposed to be same size? I'm assuming.
I would imagine, yeah. Marge is a size queen.
Well, that's out of Julie Kavanaugh's voice. She's said it on interviews before that she thinks the only reason why Marge is still with Homer is because of his endowment.
Endowment.
Endowment. Jesus. I like how Bart's fee to get out of a year of punishment is just $3.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the equivalent to like a billionaire, like not going to jail, right?
Yeah, just like, let's pay whatever. Yeah, it's fine.
See,
drop in the bucket.
It pays to be rich.
It really does.
And when Burns comes back and the tiny little brain that falls out of his...
Ooh, need that.
Little concern there, yeah. Well, Monty then describes this treacherous tale of survival. Crammed between several rocks, using his long forked tongue, Burns lapped up passing bugs and ate them, and then slithered through the stones until he found a mother mole, who allowed him to suck on her teat until he had the strength to go on and climb to freedom. I think a little fun punch-up here would have been when he was eating the insects with his reptile tongue, that because he picked up a mole that was nursing and then threw it away. I was expecting him to take up that mole and then throw it in his mouth and eat it and then start suckling on it.
I like that. That's really good.
But do you think he didn't do that because there's like, it's okay to eat insects and it's not, I mean, it's creepy, but like eating a mammal might go too far, even though, yes, we eat mammals all the time, but.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just like a thing, like, you know, like sometimes it's weird to have like chicken and egg in the same meal, or like it'd be weird to drink a glass of milk with a hamburger.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want a baby mole with mole milk.
I see. And maybe that's another thing too, because it was a baby and he's eating a baby, so that's kind of sad.
That's one step too far.
You're right with like the chicken and egg. I think the only thing when I think of that, like I'm not going to have like a nice seared chicken breast with a side of eggs, but it's perfectly fine if I'm eating chicken fried rice.
Right, of course. And of course, you know, I love breaded chicken.
Yes.
And the way that you get the bread to stick to the chicken is you use an egg wash. So I'm full of shit. So
I've never tried for fried chicken for the binder. Come.
Huh. You know what? Neither have I.
You should be like to your wife, like, listen, I'm going to have to jerk off a lot this week if you want fried chicken. And you're going to help me.
Jerking off and fried chicken. I mean, it does sound like a great weekend.
You know, like how veal, they just feed them like beer or whatever. Or like the Wagyu beef, they just feed them beer. Mm-hmm. All we do is feed you pineapple. And that way, your semen will give a nice acidity because of the pineapple.
That's true. This is disgusting, but yeah, okay.
We're at like 15 minutes and I've already brought cum up.
Yep.
In fact, we'll sell this to KFC, and then on that month, there'll be CFC, cum fried chicken.
It's cock-licking good.
Hey, Steve, we better edit this out, or some of our listeners are going to steal our idea.
Yeah, that's what they'll do. Not just turn off this podcast immediately. And of course, do start jacking off so they can make their own fried chicken.
All right. This will be our new source, because egg prices are so expensive, and
those of you with vaginas, you can add your own special sauce as well. I don't want to exclude you.
Just binge watch Heated Rivalry and, get it going down there. I don't want to be too graphic on this podcast, Steve.
That would be too far, yes. Back in the safety and comfort of his mansion, Monty turns on the TV to see if the common folk are grieving him as the fallen god he believes himself to be. And so on a very big screen TV, Ken Brockman reports that the town is still mourning the loss of a beloved old man. Assuming that Kent is speaking about him, Burns giggles to himself about how the children all love him and how he is thought to be thousands of years old, joking that he has been 89 for a while now.
We've seen Burns's giant TV screens before, but has it always had the CRTV little dome-shaped glass before on that giant TV?
Yeah, I don't know, but I do like it. Yeah, I wish that I had one of those big-ass old big screen TVs that probably cost $4,000 and weighed 400 pounds.
Yeah, you don't wish for that because that's a little heavy there. Because I remember when I was in middle school or high school, my dad made a huge purchase and bought a big screen TV. Do you remember that TV?
I kind of do, yeah.
And it's crazy to think I remember as a kid, sweet, my VHS of Star Wars. I'm going to watch it. It's like I'm in a movie theater, but now you think of like quality of VHS and the CRTVs and how just 720p is way better.
Right. And also now you can buy like a TV that would have been amazing for like $300.
You literally could put in every room a 80-inch screen TV for under $300.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know, our dream was always to like just mount a TV on our ceiling, but that would be very detrimental because they were so heavy then. But now you can.
Yeah, I think about the old Andy Richter Controls the Universe, and he has like a TV in front of him in his bedroom. He has a TV in front of him, but he also has one to the left, so he rolls over. He can still watch the TV, and you could totally do that. And yeah, maybe I will.
I just like the idea of only TVs in one room. I have an addiction, Steve, and it is television, and that's why we do this podcast. Anyway, so Brockman goes on to say that Geezer Rock would be missed, causing Burns to do a very long spit take. What is he on, SNL? And he's depleted himself of all liquids. Just a great scene, because he just becomes wrinkled. So luckily Smithers is there to rehydrate him, so he sprays him, and Kent goes on to say that one man the public won't miss is C. Montgomery Burns. And a photo is shown of Burns palling around with good old Satan, as his power plant is noted for generating electricity as well as contempt. Kent thanks Geezer Rock for killing Mr. Burns, something that no one in Springfield had the courage to do, except, of course, one Maggie Simpson.
That's right. Noting that Springfield cared more about a piece of rock than him, Monty laments that he doesn't have a friend in the world. Of course, Smithers tries to offer a loving hand, but Burns pushes him away, telling him to stop being so needy. He then makes a plan to reinvent the public's perception of him, as we'll just hear in this clip.
Well, I'm going to change this town's accurate impression of me.
Sir, you could improve your image with various good deeds.
Don't I already give out turkey slices to the poor?
You eliminated that program in the 30s, sir.
They were getting too grabby. All right. I know how to change the way the public thinks of me. I'll buy every media outlet in town. Bring me a checkbook and a mother mole. I really got hooked on this stuff.
I really like the idea of him, just a container of Jenny-O turkey, just handing a single slice to the homeless people. It's just very funny to me.
Not deli sliced turkey, just Jenny-O brand.
Yeah,
Why does Jenny-O seem trashy to me?
Right? Or Lando Frost.
What's Lando Frost?
It's the lesser brand of lunch meat that when Jenny-O is a bit too much.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that.
I haven't bought it in a long time, but it's ramen Totino's pizza level.
Probably a lot of preservatives and not well treated animal.
It's the concept of lunch meat rather than actual lunch meat.
Well, I'm not going to be doing a taste test on this podcast. Sorry.
I mean, it's called Lando Frost.
I just envision it's Lando Calrissian's ice cream stand or something. On Best, Lando Frost is probably the TCBY of Bespin, the Cloud City in Star Wars.
Yes. He goes to Hoth, gets some ice. Yeah. Then I like it. Lando Frost. That's a good idea.
Also sells Colt 45 malt liquor.
Works every time.
The suckling of the mole. Yeah. Just a great callback. I also love, I know maybe one person wouldn't like it, the human characteristics, but of the mole just being very annoyed with Mr. Burns.
Yeah.
But it's a very cute mole that has eyeliner on, or
and we got some shifty eyes. They're like, what are you doing? Yeah.
And I also we're not a political podcast, but we might talk a little bit in the future of this because of how he wants to buy all the media outlets, and I feel like that might be a subject that's really currently going on in this country.
Yeah, it seems especially timely.
I don't want to sound like a big nerd, but I found some connections between this episode and the current timeline of our life.
I think it's tough, but I think you might be able to find one or two similarities.
All right, so let's go to Lisa. It's her first edition of the Lisa Independent newspaper. The Red Dress Press is ready to be distributed by the people with her poem on the front page. And Homer is happy to help, driving through the streets of Springfield delivering the paper, shouting, "Extra, extra, man driving erratically throws papers out the window." Now, I want to ask you about the paper, because it looks like it's just maybe an 8 by 8.5, 11 sheet of paper, but there might be like folded over. How's Homer getting like the weight on that?
I was kind of wondering that myself. Yeah. Like, why don't you just make paper airplanes?
Yeah, and you could poke people in the eye and they'd be mad and look at it and like, oh, all right, I'm not mad anymore.
When I was Lisa's age, me and a school chum, we started our own newspaper. I don't know what we talked about. Oh, actually, one thing I knew we talked about, I wrote an article about The Simpsons. I may have mentioned this the first time, but like, I wrote an article about Bart Simpson, bad dude with an attitude or a cool guy. Basically, I was talking as an 8-year-old about whether or not, like, there was all this controversy about Bart Simpson and The Simpsons being problematic for kids because it's a cartoon. And mostly it's because I was salty because my parents wouldn't let me watch it, but I did instead, because I was obsessed with TV and I had one in my bedroom. I think we only had one edition, but that was a good article.
And Steve, for our listeners, I found the article, so could you please read it to them?
Oh, yes. Simpsons are a good show. I want to watch it, but my mom won't let me. Can I please watch Simpsons? Thank you. Love, Steve.
And it was dated December 22nd, 2019.
Yeah. I mean, I said it was with a school chum, but like, I was an adult. He was just my friend from a school.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did like the newspaper thing, but I did a lot of like lot. I rolled my eyes when I said lot because, you know, like one or two like comic books as a kid. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I got the paper and folded it and then drew pictures and then started adding words. Like, well, I made a picture. I kind of know what the stories.
Yeah.
I think it literally ended with like Spider-Man style of like at a sewing machine sewing his costume together like Peter Parker.
That was it.
Yeah. Well, no, like, you know, get this, Steve. It was a male protagonist, and he had a girlfriend, and guess what? Oh, no, he had a love interest, and guess what she was?
What's that?
Her profession.
Was she a journalist?
She was a journalist!
Oh, wow. Very original.
I don't know why DC didn't want it, or Marvel.
I know. I mean, here's what you probably didn't do is you probably didn't give her name like the first and same letter, like Lois Lane or Clark Kent or
I think I kind of remember what her name was, but it was like, no, I don't actually. It was like, I think it was like Tammy Two-Tone, but no, that's Tommy Two-Tone.
What's her phone number? 867-5309.
I think it was actually Tammy Two-Tone.
Maybe she just really likes second wave ska.
Yeah. I went through like a bunch of old crates of like my parents kept everything type of thing. So of like schoolwork, and I bet it's in there somewhere, but I don't really want to dig it out. There's many embarrassing things. I don't know why parents keep that stuff because it just becomes embarrassing.
I'm sure you will though, as your daughter like creates stuff.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. We're going to have to do a Patreon episode well, we've talked about before. We wrote scripts back when we were like in high school that I've recently found. So we might have to do a Patreon episode for just that.
I would also like to read some Dorm Shacky comics.
That's another thing I did too, was I made comic strips as a kid. I think a lot of kids did that stuff, but 3-panel comic strips. Look, I loved Garfield and the rest. But anyway, Steve, back to The Simpsons. So the free press reaches the eyes of the citizens, such as Bumblebee Man, who is watering his lawn, Ned Flanders, who is on one of his day jogs, not to be confused with those night jogs where he turns into a werewolf, but of course, Steve, that's not canon, because Treehouse of Horror.
Of course.
So Mo, who is sitting in the pews of First Church of Springfield, seemingly flipping through the pages of Play Dude magazine. I'd love that bit where it's the Porto mag, but he's hiding Lisa's paper.
Yeah, it's just also funny to be reading a Porto mag in a church.
Do you think we should try that? Like, go to like a Sunday Catholic mass, just like while the priest is giving their sermon, we'll just pull out a porno mag and just start reading it.
Priest is like, women of age? That's not the way it's supposed to be. Ew.
Snake, Jailbird, and Apu, who are on either end of the armed robbery. And another very funny scene. I love Apu and Snake. It feels like because, we can't do Apu anymore, that Snake... Well, I mean, Snake is still around, but I feel like you really needed, Snake and Apu. Because, it's like Laurel and Hardy or
right.
Tom and Jerry. Itchy and Scratchy.
There should be an episode where they team up. Because, like in the later episodes of like Tom and Jerry, they were friends sometimes.
Yeah, it was weird. Like we had like Tom and Jerry on the other day. And it like ended up with them teaming up and like being friends at the end. I'm like, that's weird. I don't remember that.
So it'd be funny if like Apu and Snake had like a common foe. I don't know, like maybe Wiggum.
Yeah.
They have to go against the cops. I don't know. Something like that.
That's a great spin-off show. Maybe that's why they haven't had Apu on. They've been working on the spin-off show, the Snake and Apu show. So everyone is touched by Lisa's poem that goes a little something like this. Postcard image thing to see. To think of Springfield is to think of thee. What thoughts be passing thy mean? Why sky art blue? Why trees are green? And what, pray tell, do thine eyes see? Perchance, old friend, they gazed at me, brought low by nature's oafish hand, thy crushed are reviewing stand. And twixt thy stones glimpsed I the truth. All things must pass, thy face, my youth. Lisa, that's the most pretentious thing I've ever read.
I'm no, like, poem expert.
A poologist, Steve.
Thank you. I'm no poologist. But, like, is that really that good of a poem? I mean, like, I see the rock. Why are the sky blue? Why are the trees green? What did I see? Oh, I saw an old rock, and it reminds me that I'm growing old. That's the poem. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not a poologist, but...
It reminds me of the, Joyce Kilmer poem, Trees. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree. That one. You know that one. That's a
Yeah, I know that one.
And the only reason I know that poem is because of the Richard Donner Superman movie. I believe it goes like, I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breasts. Breasts. A tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to say... Let's continue The Simpsons.
So an astronaut floating in space reads Lisa's poem, as does a trapeze artist hanging upside down by his legs, too immersed in Lisa's powerful words to catch his partner, causing her fall probably to an untimely death.
Another punch-up would have been funny because I knew she was going to be coming, but it would have been funny if she was like also flying and reading the poem and not paying attention.
Ooh. I like that. Maybe they could like crash into each other.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Krusty reads the poem and cries as hard as when the third Mr. Teeny dies. He then compares the current Mr. Teeny to his predecessor, causing the chimp to weep as well. Krusty then looks at the taxidermied bodies of the first two Teenies, saying that the first one was no good, but the second one helped him pick up women.
I like this idea that there's been multiple Mr. Teenies. It makes sense. I don't think Krusty's a great pet owner. Or
no.
I would like to see his office again with like 8 different Mr. Teenies now on the wall.
Mm-hmm. And like, it sucks because Mr. Teeny is also his driver. So he's really making that monkey work.
What if, Krusty likes to get drunk. What if, and Mr. Teeny, what if it was something like a drunken car crash that killed Mr. Teeny?
I mean, I'm pretty sure his first name is Mar. So it makes sense.
Martini, wow. Can we get the crickets sound? Thank you. All right. So when Lisa arrives home, Ned runs by complimenting her newspaper, saying that he's looking forward to the next issue the following day. And this causes Lisa to realize that she needs to continue publishing more. It's just a great scene where you accomplish one thing that's supposed to be like a daily task. I'm like, I'm so proud of myself. I'm like, well, yeah, you got to do this every day, by the way. I'm like, oh. Ugh. It's like after like I edit the podcast, I'm like, I'm done. And then I have a couple days off before we have to do another one. But now it's like the Patreon. I was like, I'm done for the week. No, I'm not.
Nope. Yeah, like Tuesday is my day off. because on Sundays now, because I have to work, I do notes. Monday I record with you. Tuesday's day off. Wednesday I watch the thing for the Patreon, and then Thursday we record that. So yeah, it's always just something.
Yeah, and we wouldn't want it any other way.
That's right. We love this, actually.
Yeah, of course we do. We wouldn't keep doing it if we didn't like it. So anyways, Bart encourages her further, saying that he's already sold a bunch of subscriptions. He then asks, how do you think I got these swell prizes? So he's splaying his hand across the backyard, showing off all those amazing prizes, such as a tent, a mountain bike, a baseball bat, a mitt, a canoe, a kite, a telescope, and even a mountain bike.
I love that.
Yeah. I imagine we talked about this scene in the original broadcast of this episode, but this is such a reference to when you were a kid, you had to sell magazine subscriptions. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if the kids do that anymore, because I don't know if there's magazines.
Probably not.
Do you think kids now go door to door, like selling streaming services subscriptions? Like, okay, well, you could get Disney Plus, you could get that with the Hulu and ESPN, or you could go with Paramount Plus. That's like $1.
All I sold was an MGM Plus subscription.
I don't even know how to get MGM Plus. I go online and they don't know either.
Yeah, just like, just steal it. Go to a website. It's fine.
So that's just like a nice thing, because you'd always have those prizes.
Mm-hmm.
I think for those magazine sales, and I'm guarantee we talked about it before, but like I will bring it up again. But it was always kids would just tell their parents, and the parents would go to work and tell the other people to get magazines.
100%.
I don't think I ever really went door to door selling stuff.
No, the only thing that we had at my elementary school was a thing called Run for the Arts, which is kind of a similar thing where you go door to door and you signed up for pledges, and for however many laps you as a person ran, they paid like a nickel or $1 or whatever. And that money went to arts programs for our school, because our schools were horribly underfunded and far worse now. And that was the only thing I ever got involved with. But then I realized that involved running, and Steve don't like running. So they didn't have to pay very much.
Well, we did like the walkathons. You weren't allowed to walk.
I could walk, yeah.
Because there was an episode of The Office where it was the same thing, right? Like, it was like marry this kid, and Michael Scott was like, well, I'll give like, what, $20 a mile or something. Something big. Like, oh no. It's been a while since I've seen that episode, but yeah. Because we did that too. Then did you ever do the, like the candy bars or the pepperoni sticks?
Oh, yeah.
So remember the pepperoni sticks? I never had to go door to door because my dad would just eat them all. So he ended up having to like pay out like the $20 because it was like $1. You probably get like 20.
Mm-hmm. It's convenient for everybody. Everybody wins.
Yeah, and I remember like those like candy bars and sticks were not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But as kids' taste, so of course.
Oh yeah, but still.
I just remember like always like scrounging through like the couches for quarters and money. And I'm like, I really want, because like I have a case of candy bars in my bedroom right now, but I'm not allowed to eat them unless I pay for it. So I'm going to walk around this house looking for money so I can eat that candy bar.
It's so frustrating to be so close to candy and not eat candy.
That was the name of my fourth girlfriend. And I understand what you mean. I'm making a joke.
He doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So Lisa posts a sign in the playground of Springfield Elementary that reads, "Newspaper staff wanted. Apply to editor-in-chief at Jungle Gym." And as we'll discover in this clip, several kids are eager to join the bustling world of print media. And on the other side of town, people are shocked to learn that C. Montgomery Burns is alive and well.
All right, Nelson, what kind of journalism skills do you have?
I don't know. Making nerds cry?
Perfect. You're our TV critic. Ralph, what about you?
I want to be a fire truck.
How about a feature columnist?
Yay! I'm a feature columnist!
Good day. Hello.
Great! Cliven's ghost, he's alive!
Yes, that's right. I pulled a Jesus. Have a nickel.
Hi.
Burns is alive? Then whose skull am I drinking beer out of?
Boy, I can't wait to dance on his grave.
Oh, yeah. Ah! Whose grave?
The unknown soldier?
Carry on. Okay, it's time to win the love of these hateful morons. Step 1, amass a vast media empire.
So I love it when Nelson walks up and Lisa's like, what can you do? And he's like, I don't know, make nerds cry. And she's like, all right, you could be the television critic. And that's a very funny line. And I'm sure was a big hurrah joke in the writer's room. And then I love when Homer, Lenny, and Carl are going to go tap dance on Burns' grave. And it's funny if you say like this now, of like, I am excited to tap dance on his grave. Everyone knows who we're talking about when we say his.
100%. Everybody knows exactly who we're talking about.
Yeah, someone who bullied nerds.
And I don't want to get too political because we're not a political podcast, but you know who we're talking about.
Yeah. You nerd bullier, Rex Reed, R.I.P.
So cruel. Such a little bitch, but we'll miss you, Rex.
I mean, he was a critic after all, like Lisa said, so yeah.
Exactly. I also love Kearney being like, whose skull have I been drinking out of?
Did someone sell it to him, or he just found it?
In my mind, it's like the guy from the Gremlins. Like, aside from Mogwais, he also sells skull mugs. And he's like, this mug is Burns' mug, is Burns' skull. It's only $10. And Kearney's like, yeah, I'll drink beer out of that. Also, skulls aren't just a good vessel for drinking because of the eye holes.
There's a lot of holes in skulls.
Yeah, don't I know it? Ew. What does that mean?
It means you fuck a skull.
Oh, yeah, I'm a skull fucker.
All right.
Anyway, Burns and Smithers head to the offices of Channel 6, which has a sign that boasts that they are still in English. A surly exec tells Burns that the station isn't for sale, adding that it has been in the same family for generations. Unthwarted, Burns drops a bag of cash in front of the man. But the exec is so adamant that a sack of money won't change his mind, so Monty offers a much larger sack. And then the Channel 6 employee argues that there's more to life than wealth, and then a sexy lady pops out of the bag, waving seductively. But the man still isn't sold, until the lady offers to split an ice cream sundae, and then he's in. Such a good gag.
That's all it takes, right? Like, you got the money, the sexy lady, but you gotta put that cherry on the top, and that's the ice cream sundae.
It's like Scarface himself, Joe Montana, said, first you get the women, then you get the money, then you get the ice cream sundae.
Yeah, this is just a great scene of how billionaire tycoons buying everything out, like media outlets. Because, yeah, I mean, back in the day, it was just, a family-owned business or just like a single person owned, like, stations. So the almighty all is what really seduces people, and that's I blame everyone,
Yeah, everyone's awful.
If we were just socialists, we'd all be fine, I guess.
Probably. I don't know. Everything's bad.
So as Channel 6 becomes a branch of Burns Media, the independent press thrives as well, with the kids working hard on Lisa's paper. Bart offers the comic Principal Skin Rash, featuring Skinner covered in sores, and Lisa likes the work, but tells Bart to add a runny nose, as she wants readers to gag on their morning cup of joe. It's not a problem for Bart, who calls Lisa Chief, then Jerk, then back to Chief, when she objects. So then over at KBBL, it seems that Burns Media has made another acquisition.
You're on the Morning Zoo with Bill and Marty. What's your Wednesday wine?
Well, first of all, I agree with you two. It's sheer humbuggery that pretty girls can flirt their way out of speeding tickets.
No support for the naughty hotties.
Secondly, I want you to pack up and get out. I just bought this station and you're fired. And play that delightful flush sound on your way out.
Yes, sir.
Indoor plumbing. The lack of it killed my mother. I've done it, Smithers. I've bought every media outlet in town. TV, radio, even the skywriters.
Cletus, what does that say?
That says, I loves you, Brandine.
Oh, Cletus, tonight you can knock me up again.
Looks like he won't be having fried chicken.
Oh, jeez, Steve, come on. There's kids listening. So R.I.P. Bill and Marty, they have no more jobs. Do you think Bill and Marty, if we ever see them again, I'm sure we've seen them again, they're not probably fired from that, but I feel like Bill and Marty need to be podcasters now.
Oh, yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. What kind of podcaster do you think they'd be, though? Do you think they'd be like Manosphere podcasters or like comedy podcasts, or like would they be like the Smartless guys talking about whatever the Smartless guys talk about? I don't know.
Oh, that's a good question. I think they would probably want to rebrand themselves. So I think the Manosphere thing, like you said, and that might be a good episode to pitch.
Yeah, I could see that, happening in like season 38, just like, and like Kirk is like the biggest fan.
Oh yeah.
And then we get guest stars.
Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting if like an episode Marty like quits the show and then it's just Bill, and then Marty does his Manosphere podcast, or vice versa. I don't know which one it would be.
Yeah, we never got really a lot of depth of character of Bill and Marty.
And then Homer would be like the new co-host for Bill or Marty.
Ooh, I like this, yeah.
And that's the episode. There, we pitched one.
There we did. I like it.
Good for us.
Smithers works on the newspaper, offering the headline, "Beloved Hero Cheats Death," featuring a photo of Monty smiling at the camera. And Burns requests more apple in his cheek, and with a click of a mouse, his cheeks are appled to the desired rosiness.
So, like, his TV still has that round image, but his computer is a, like, flat screen.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
With, like, 3 disk drives.
Wow, he must be rich.
Yeah.
Burns then asks to see how he's doing on the jumping box, which Smithers deduces is the television. So they turn on Channel 6, the Picto Tube, where Kent Brockman debates movie ghoulie Boobarella about their new boss, C. Montgomery Burns.
My view, he's a great leader and a gallant American.
He's got a heart as big as my boobs.
I guess we'll have to agree on this one.
Boobs!
Smithers, do you know Bill from accounting? That's his daughter.
Short clip, but I love how Mr. Smithers is just indifferent that Boobarella is related to accounting.
It's like, okay, sure.
He's like, I don't care.
Also, I feel like 2 commentators debating about how great somebody who is trying to control all media does feel a little coded like today's time.
Oh, are you saying that this is supposed to be Fox News?
A little bit, yeah.
Would you go more with like the OAN network or the news? Is it Newsmax?
Yeah.
It's like OAN, Newsmax, then Fox News.
Yeah, it's like when Fox News isn't crazy enough for you.
We should do on the page. No, I don't want to. Let's say we should do like a OAN or Newsmax, like watch an hour of it and then review
God.
it. Or go to Fox News and watch a gut-filled.
Ugh.
Or we can like maybe give ourselves paper cuts and put salt and lime juice on it.
Yeah, let's just nail nails into our eyes. So even Bart and Lisa's beloved Itchy and Scratchy are affected by a Burns media buyout, as he writes and directs the cartoon What's Nuked Pussycat. In it, Scratchy is a hippie protesting nukes when he's stabbed in the heart by a forklift driven by Itchy. The mouse drives the forklift, saying that he'll show Scratchy and all the other protesters why they are wrong. So they drive by an orphanage and then a hospital, both running thanks to nuclear power.
So Scratchy, still impaled by the forklift, asks about wind power, arguing that it's both cheap and safe. Itchy is doubtful as they drive to a giant spinning turbine that cuts Scratchy's head off clean. Burns, as a vulture, flies on the screen to tell children that nuclear power is their friend, as is Monty Burns. So Scratchy's decapitated head says, "Don't end up like me. Vote Republican." Itchy then asks for God to bless America before quickly stating that the cartoon was made in Korea.
Okay, tinfoil hat time. And again, we're not a political podcast, but, whenever they talk about wind power, Burns says that it's killing the birds. And I genuinely think he saw this episode half awake, and he saw Scratchy's head get cut off, and then he saw Monty Burns as a vulture, and he's like, death, birds, wind power, okay, got it. And this is it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like our newish theory of so many things that happens on The Simpsons becomes kind of like what Trump says. And we have this theory that he just watches The Simpsons, like his me time is, the fillet of fish, the fish deluxe, and all the other McDonald's he eats, and just watches The Simpsons, which, look, if that's all he wanted to do and not be the president, I'd be fine with.
Sure. Old men drinking Diet Coke and watching The Simpsons, I'm all for.
As long as he's just doing that and nothing else nefarious, then we're cool.
Right. But I mean, all the other stuff that he's done. Allegedly.
And will do.
And, yes.
But yeah, right. Like, this is how we should be on TikTok, by the way. We should just bring this up, and that's how we get our TikTok followers. We don't have a TikTok.
Ooh, that's good.
Steve, make a TikTok and just say that same thing you just told me.
Okay, I will.
And I was driving...
But it's going to be like Lisa, where like we'll make one TikTok and like, I got to make more?
Exactly. Or like us, time-stamping this and to make it a TikTok clip. But, I was driving through the countryside or the desert area in Washington State recently, and we got a lot of wind turbines here in Oregon and in Washington. And man, just birds kept falling out of the sky, and whales too for some reason, because they're killing the whales.
Huh. Wow.
Wasn't that another thing you said, that they were killing whales?
I think so, yeah.
Anyways, not a political podcast.
Lisa feels that she needs to speak up about Burns' media monopoly before it's too late. She then looks over at the cover of Burns' Weekly magazine, which has the headline, "It's Too Late." So Lisa gets to work at her computer, writing an editorial saying that the Red Dress Press is the only newspaper not owned by Burns, and they're not afraid of Monty, calling him a monopolistic, self-aggrandizing, sneaky pants.
I mean, that describes Trump as well.
Yes, all three of those.
Especially the last part. Lisa's article garners the attention of regulars at Moe's, such as Lenny, who begins to think that maybe Burns ain't so great. Carl agrees that Lisa has given them a lot to mull, as Lenny and Carl ponder. Moe whips them with a bar towel, saying that thinking ain't drinking.
So true. Meanwhile, Lisa is called to the executive offices of the Springfield Nuclear Power Plant to meet with C. Montgomery Burns. She tells Monty that the paper isn't for sale, so he brings in a pony named Sugarbell. And Lisa is smitten, but still says no. Burns then brings in 2 more ponies, Honeysuckle and Dewdrop, and the 3 horses prance around on their hind legs, dancing all in a row. And Lisa is awestruck, noticing the beauty of the ponies and how their breath smells of peppermint.
So after a moment of hesitation, Lisa says that she won't accept the blood ponies and shoos them away. The ponies hiss, waving their forked tongues at Lisa. So a nice little connection to the Burns and his forked tongue. So Burns vows to end up victorious. Then the old man and the little girl have a very awkward moment.
Very well. You had your chance. I'm going to shred you like a Christmas card. Now get out!
I can't. My mom's not picking me up for an hour.
So, what do you think of today's popular music scene?
I think it distracts people from more important social issues.
My God, are you always on?
I really like Lisa and Burns. Well, I would identify myself mostly as a Lisa. I like the fact that Burns being like, don't you ever just stop caring so much about everything?
Yeah, they're one of the duos that you don't see often. I mean, they've obviously teamed up before, like Little Lisa, Slurry, but it is a fun combination. I kind of hope in the Simpsons sequel movie that maybe we get a little Burns and Lisa action.
Ooh, I'd like that, yeah. I think Burns should be a big part of the sequel.
Yeah, because they're probably going to have, another Albert Brooks villain. But I don't know, maybe if they were to, Marvelize it and make, the League of Villains, have Burns, have Scorpio, teaming up, I think fans would love that kind of shit.
Yeah, and I think you throw in a John Lovett's character as well. I think that could be fun, too.
Yeah.
Like an Artie Ziff.
Oh, because he's another billionaire tycoon. Why not? Rich Texan.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, how about this? We're naming those characters, but how about we do a trio of villains? It's Burns, Hank Scorpio, and a character that I want back, Herb Simpson.
Ooh.
Bring Danny DeVito back and make him a villain. Unky Herb.
I like him.
Yeah.
Takes a heel turn. That's smart. I love this.
All right, go tell Al Jean or something like that.
All right.
Go to the Simpsons movie making studio and say, stop the presses and hit the button.
It takes 4 hours. The latest issue of the Red Dress Press is delivered to doorsteps with a front page that reads, Lisa de Burns, drop dead, along with Ralph Wiggum's Oscar picks, and of course a photo of him picking his nose. So as Homer drives the kids through the paper route, he is sideswiped by a mysterious black car. And so he shouts, stupid women drivers! and then a helicopter lands on the moving car and pushes it to the next lane, causing Homer to shout, "Stupid women helicopter pilots."
Yes, it's a sexist joke, but that's the point at the time, so making sure that people know that that's the joke. I was hoping that he would say stupid Segway drivers at this next one, because a Segway driver then drives to the car, and it clearly looks like a male physique. So it would have been funny if he said stupid Segway women. Anyway, so it forces the Homer, which it's funny, Homer's also driving the station wagon, so it's rarity when we see him driving the wagon.
Yeah, he's usually driving the pink car.
His car, yeah. So it rolls down a hill and into an embankment, and they're still alive. There's no injuries, but when Homer and the kids step out the crashed automobile, they're surrounded by snakes as they unwillingly landed in the middle of Rattlesnake Sanctuary. Do you think that that sanctuary is pretty new because they finally outlawed Whacking Day in Springfield?
Yeah, so they had to put them all somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think that Don Payne just had forked tongues on his brain.
It could just be like he thinks it's just a comical thing is the forked tongue. Yeah.
Or maybe it was like close to lunch and he just kept on thinking about food and he's like, forks, tongues, these are things I eat with. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
So back in the Simpsons garage that doubles as the Red Press HQ, Lisa begs her staff to stick around since they are the only ones standing in Burns' way. Milhouse reluctantly quits, stating that he made up the story in Baghdad and that he was actually in Basra, a real Brian Williams.
But I like it how it was two like war areas at the time, probably. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like saying, I went to New York, and then, saying that you were actually like at like Buffalo, New York, and not like Manhattan. I don't know.
Right.
Lisa is saddened that everyone chickened out except Ralph, who took the job at the Springfield Tribune with his witty musings known as Ralphings, such as, "I can go on the bus." I think if you were to do this joke now, it would be the New York Post.
Yes.
Lisa has a moment of self-pity as she thinks she has to fight this battle alone, but Bart tells her to take her sob sister act elsewhere. He's sticking around because he's learned a valuable lesson. The pen is mightier than the flaming bag of poop.
So true. Bart then shows off his latest masterpiece, a drawing of free speech, as depicted as a dog, being tied to the train tracks by Burns as a Smithers train speeds towards the canine. And Skinner is in his underpants in the background, scratching his scaps.
So Burns is outraged, wondering when public figures became fair game for satire. Smithers points out the goons that ran Lisa and her crew off the road, but Burns argues that he shouldn't be held responsible for the actions that his goons were ordered to do, and Whalen suggests a nonviolent method to shut Lisa up. But Monty retorts that nonviolence never solved anything. Again, this scene.
Yeah.
Too timely, and like that's exactly what Trump is. Just like.
Yeah, the whole concept of like, I can't be responsible for what I tell my goons to do. Like, that's just so spot on. So after a moment of consideration, Burns loans Smithers, or Curtsy Boy, as he calls him, to have his way, shutting off the power of the Simpsons' home, including the garage press of Lisa's paper. So Homer offers 2 D-cell batteries that they have to power everything in the house. And then he proceeds to put the batteries in a boombox and sings along to the Spice Girls' Wannabe until the batteries die, which he argues was totally worth it.
And then in the hallways of Springfield Elementary, Lisa mutters to herself about Burns cutting her power and lowering her credit score when Skinner offers to help. And Lisa's surprised he wasn't offended by Principal Skinnerash, but Seymour laughs it off, saying that he once had a similar principal, unaware that he was the butt of the joke. And I don't think I caught that in like the initial episode run. And it's just funny that Skinner doesn't know that's him.
Right. Some other Principal Skinnerash. So Skinner leads Lisa to an unattended room in the school that has a Mimu machine, a hand-operated duplicating device that does not require electricity. Skinner takes a deep whiff of the Mimu ink and flashes back to his time in Vietnam when he was captured by opposing forces in the middle of printing a sign advertising a chair for sale, $5 or best offer, great for sitting. And back in the present day, Seymour recalls that finally, way back in 1992, he was reunited with that chair, and it just wasn't the same.
Man, I forget I love these running gags of Skinner's flashbacks to Nam. And I think it's sad you can't really do it anymore because, he would have to be like in his 70s or 80s now to be a Nam.
Yeah. I always remember the soup that he reminisces a soup that he can never like recreate, and that made him so sad.
It was just a nice ongoing bit that they would always do. And so Lisa makes another edition of the Red Dress Press, gloating, "Nye, we're back. Lisa rules, Burns rules," on the front page. So seeing that he is on the losing side of the battle with a little girl, Burns calls on the League of Evil. So he presses a button on his desk, which lifts his bookcase to reveal his evil league, consisting of a pilot, a samurai, a cowboy, and a scientist. Unfortunately, they are all skeletons. So were they just all just sitting there not eating and drinking water? Just waiting for Mr. Burns?
I really hope they lift up that bookcase again.
So Smithers points out that even monsters need air. So after Burns gathers the watches of the dead, he thinks of yet another way to defeat Lisa with the help of her father.
So, has your daughter always been such a righteous little rabble-rouser?
Oh, yeah, she's always trying to improve mankind.
Fascinating. Do go on.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to get dirt on Lisa?
Oh, you saw right through me. Well done. Have some congratulatory drugs.
Well, if that's your custom.
Now, tell me more about your daughter. And speak into the lamp.
Okay. Well, she's into Buddhism, whistleblowing, totally against pollution, no matter what I say.
Liberal wacko, eh? Any young booze?
Well, that loser Milhouse has always had a thing for her. Don't you love it when nerds don't know they're nerds?
Yes, there's nothing more pathetic than self-delusion, eh? Ooh, hello, Beefcake Charlie.
The image that Burns sees in the mirror of what he calls Beefcake Charlie is him still old, but he's got hair and a pencil mustache and a double-breasted purple suit and an ascot. Very fancy.
Kind of like, almost looks like Cesar Romero.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's his ego. Of course, he's going to look like himself, but a little bit more hair and a mustache. I love Homer's line of when it was offered the drugs. He's like, well, if that's your ways.
I want celebratory drugs.
Yeah.
So the morning edition of the Springfield Shopper shows a drugged-up Homer slurring into a lamp with the headline, "Lisa's the total wacko," implies father. Lisa confronts Homer about his statements, and he apologizes. Homer adds that he said good things about her, too, such as plastic pearls make the girl, which happen to be buried in the lifestyle section. So Lisa sighs, saying that Burns can't do anything worse. But then another edition of the Springfield Shopper is delivered, reporting that Lisa loves Milhouse.
Oh, no. Lisa's offended by the accusation. She's even more dismayed when they look at the moon in the night sky, which has bright red laser letters that spell out Lisa loves Milhouse. So the letters then take the shape of Lisa and Milhouse smooching on the lips. And then at the Van Houten residence, Milhouse looks out the window cheering, "Way to go, Moon Milhouse."
Outside of his mansion, Burns controls the lasers, saying that it's as easy as crushing an ant. He then tries to step on one of those ants, but the six-legged insect proves to be too powerful, knocking the old man on his ass. Feeling weakened, Burns tells the ant to take his wallet and leave him alone.
I like this ant. He's cool in my book.
I like him, yeah.
So also feeling the pang of defeat, Lisa uses the Mimeo machine to make her final I Give Up edition of the Red Dress Press. As she begins to cry, Homer walks by saying that he can't stand to see one of his kids in so much agony. So he then proceeds to just shut the garage door, blocking his view of Lisa. So still hearing her sob, Homer decides to take action. So he sits in front of the typewriter and gets to work and instructs Marge to do the same.
Look at you go. Typity type, type, type.
Marge, I'm pulling an all-nighter for my little girl. Put in a pot of coffee, drink it, and start making burgers.
Some anniversary this is.
The Homer Times?
All my daughter ever did was tell people to think for themselves. I may be her father, but when I grow up, I want to be just like her. Except still a dude.
Oh, Dad, this is so sweet. But I've learned one little paper can't make a difference in this world. The Barney Bugle?
Lisa, you made me realize the importance of free and independent media. So I printed my own paper, although it's mostly culled from wire services.
Hey, who wants a copy of the Lenny Saver?
You have a newspaper too?
Well, I was reading the Homer Times about what you did for us, and I got to thinking maybe I should start asking my own questions. You know, find out the truth about things.
I love the little joke, or it's not even a little joke, but like Marge saying like, some anniversary this is turning out to be. Just that little added thing. It's so good.
And the cliche of like, put on a pot of coffee because it's going to be a long night. But the fact that it's like, put on a pot of coffee, drink it, then make burgers.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect for both of us. I'll tell you to make a pot of coffee, and you can drink the coffee, and then you can make the burgers, and I'll eat the burgers.
Quite the anniversary.
Should that be our, whatever 10th anniversary of this podcast will be, is you make a pot of coffee and burgers. All right, I like it. So this episode, I feel like you could do the same script, but turn it into, instead of a newspaper that Lisa makes, make it a podcast, because how this ends with everyone has a newspaper, it could have just ended with everyone with a podcast.
100%, yeah. Like, I feel like, 5 years after this episode aired, it would have been a blog. And then, now it would have been everybody has a podcast. So Lenny unfurls his own paper to reveal the truth that he's talking about. And the truth about Carl is what he's talking about. And the truth about Carl is he's great. And then groundskeeper Willie shows off his own publication, the Willie World News, in which he reviews all the news tractors and declares them all to be shite. I like that they got away with saying shite.
I was going to bring this up because network TV, you couldn't say shit. And shite is just shit, but with an E at the end. So I think people know that, right? Like, it's very common.
Yeah, I think so.
So
if you just add an E, so like if I say fucky,
I probably could do it.
All right. Pussy. Cunty.
That's even better. Cunty.
Homer noticed that instead of one big shot controlling the media, there's now 1,000 freaks podcasting. I mean, Xeroxing their worthless opinions, and Lisa couldn't be prouder.
So Marge's sisters offer the paper Twin Spin, where you can find out if you're more of a Patty or a Selma. Captain McAllister is surprised to learn that he's a Selma. Seeing all the independent papers, Burns admits that it is impossible to control all the media, unless, of course, you're Rupert Murdoch. And then Burns and Smithers both look directly into the camera and call Murdoch a beautiful man. And I like how it just like stays on the front facing Burns and Smithers' face for like a second. Nice touch.
Burns accepts that he lost and knows of only one thing that'll make him feel better: shopping. So he and Smithers go on a spree, trying on fur coats, blenders, and the latest sneakers. And so they pose for pictures as naval officers, or seamen, playfully pointing at each other as they ride opposite escalators. And then they enjoy a meal at the food court. And then Smithers rolls his eyes as Burns considers buying an oversized novelty martini glass. And then we see a very cute scene with Burns in Smithers' arms, fast asleep after a long day at the mall, with a little green balloon tied around his wrist. And that's our episode.
Woohoo!
Yay, we did it. All right, let's take a break, think about what we just saw, and we'll be right back. Alrighty, we're back. Let's finish up our discussion of Fraudcast news. We'll talk about the things that we liked in this episode, maybe the things we didn't like so much, the things that made us laugh, and our overall thoughts, and what we're watching next week. But before we do all of that, we here at the 138 Simpsons podcast like to inspire the gift of gift giving by giving some gifts from the episode that we think our co-host might enjoy. And this week is no different because, Craig, I got some things for you. I got you some celebratory drugs, and you can take them as is the custom. I got you a Mimeo machine, so you can make your own independent press without the help of electricity. I got you somebody's skull that you can drink beer out of. And then I got you a sack of cash. But in that sack of cash, there's a lovely lady, And that lovely lady happens to have an ice cream sundae not made by Marge that she's willing to share with you.
But I want my own television studio.
Oh, someday.
Steve, you're happy to know that I also gave you a grab bag of drugs.
Yay.
I also got this really cool lamp. Just tell all the naughty thoughts you have into that lamp.
Okay.
Anytime you want.
All right. I really like feet.
Even if you have, off-color thoughts, go ahead and record them into there.
Beige. Aquamarine.
Steve, I also got you some turkey slices.
Ooh.
And I'm willing to sell you this chair for $5 or best offer.
But is it great for sitting?
Let me check. Yes. Yes, it is.
I'm sold. Very nice.
That's going to do it for you.
Thank you, Craig. I appreciate that. Craig, what were your thoughts on this episode? Who made you laugh in this episode? What made you laugh? And give me a review.
So, I'm not too sure what we thought of this episode on our original review. I'm going to say we probably didn't like it as much. I don't know. But I think today, especially now with what's going on in this country, this is such a relevant episode.
Mm-hmm.
With like the mergers of like Paramount and Warner Brothers, so, like all of these corporations just merging to be one giant monopoly and one evil billionaire controlling this stuff. And the whole point of Lisa is the little guy, and we need more of that in this country. We need more of freedom of speech, and we need to take these people down with the freedom of speech. And the problem is we have too many people in power who, like Mr. Burns, are offended when people criticize them. Mm-hmm. And so we lose that freedom of speech. So I like the parallels, but I don't like the parallels because I don't want to think about that when I watch The Simpsons. But I like it when Simpsons gets political, and this is such a political episode. I like how Homer becomes the hero to Lisa at the end, telling her how much that she's the hero. It's a very sweet moment. And we discuss, of course, on the podcast, we love when Burns is the villain and Lisa's the hero. And I love that scene of Lisa and Burns like having to wait an hour before Marge picks her up. Just great. And we love bringing up when Marge is kind of turned on when Homer is going to do something, like, when he's going to write that letter at the end, and how excited she is for Homer to be doing something. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Skinner's scene and the flashback to Nam. Those are some of my favorites. So I think this episode, I probably reviewed it not poorly, but I probably wasn't as into it as I was now. And I think this is a great episode because of that. Like you said, a lot of the fork tongues bits were great. There's a lot of just like little nice one-liners. And I think you could just do this again, but instead of printing press, it's podcast. And I think podcasting really is going to be it already has been the new outlier for freedom of speech, because there are no rules with podcasting.
Right. And I don't see any rules happening anytime soon either. Like the FCC isn't going to come down on podcasts.
No. That's why you can have someone who's like a Joe Rogan or those Manosphere ones who say a bunch of shit and influence a lot of people into bad things, but you also have a lot of other podcasts on the other side. So, I mean, obviously podcast is very much geared to you individually, because our listeners right now, you're listening to us because you love The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
You honestly, you're probably not here for our political thoughts. And, we apologize when we always bring it up, but this one you kind of have to talk about it.
Right.
So I think when you're kind of watching this back when it aired in 2004,
mm-hmm.
that we're really kind of talking about a lot of the, like Rupert Murdoch, especially this episode was about him and buying a lot of stuff, like media outlets. And we were already starting to begin to merge companies, like AOLs and your Yahoos were starting to like merge back then, right? So yeah, I think this episode is a nice lesson, and I think it should be almost like shown in schools about how don't make these corporations lose the voice of the people. Mm-hmm. And then at the end too, that yes, we all have that voice that Lisa has, and I think that's why podcasting is now that voice. So if I gave this a ranking, I would say that there was a scene that was really funny where they go to the rattlesnake sanctuary, and I thought it would be fun to see if there's actually snake sanctuaries. A place I would never, ever want to go to.
No.
but there is one in the state of Washington and Western Idaho. So we're close to one. One is in Snohomish location, which is kind of in the northern middle-ish of Washington state. And they have a snake house. It's HAUS. So it's a retirement home for unwanted pet snakes. That's what they say on their website. And so you can, donate to them, and you can also send like supplies or just help supporting this nonprofit. But you can also, like I said, adopt. And there is prices for adoption, Steve. So there's a tier.
What a wonderful cause that I want nothing to do with.
Yeah. And it's funny. I think I'm just looking at the photos of like the staff, and it looks like it's just like all female, which is nice, because women and snakes, according to the Bible, didn't really get along that great.
It's true. Yeah, it's nice that they made peace.
Yeah. So adoption. Here's the prices. So there's for the normal smaller species, it starts at $60. And then it goes all the way up to exceptionally rare or special individuals, which could be $300.
Wow.
You also have the large normal boas, the berms, that like the significant adult size. They're about $100 or like a $200 for special genetics like color morphs or dwarf species. You know your stick, Steve.
Of course. Yeah.
So if, of course, obviously the $300, the most prized episode of The Simpsons, I'm going to give this actually a specials genetics, color morphs, or dwarf species. It's a $200 episode, Steve. I think I want to like review this, not review it, but like revisit this episode in every couple of years to just like remember the message that it tells us. Steve, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you made a lot of really good salient points that are very true. This episode is as important today, maybe even more so than it was when it came out. And I think that independent media is so important. And that's why I feel honored to, do this podcast. And even if we're just saying the dumb stuff that we say, the fact that we have a voice and people can hear us is so powerful, especially in a world where corporations are increasingly more and more prevalent and taking over. But aside from all of that, which is all very important, I like this episode because it does a lot of good things as a Simpsons episode. Like, you talked about the Lisa Burns dynamic, and that's always fun. And kind of the fourth wall, not quite fourth wall, but like the, oh my God, are you always like on, and like having them have a moment together where they're just kind of hanging out. Like, sure, Lisa probably could have just gone hung out with Homer, because, she's at work. I also like that, we're kind of in the era of jerk-ass Homer, and he is a little jerk-assy, like when he's like, I can't stand to see Lisa cry, and then he shuts the garage door. Very funny, but then we also get sweet Homer, because he's very helpful. He gets to write his own letter, and, he helps her in the beginning delivering the newspapers, even though it was only one page. I also like the absurdity of the episode, like Burns in the rocks, slithering and eating the bugs. I think it's goofy enough, and his brain falling off, but it still kind of snaps back to reality in a good way. And I don't know, I think you're right that we probably didn't enjoy this episode the first time around, or not much, but this time I really had fun with it, and I think that it works really well. I love Lisa gathering all the kids to write up their own things, and I don't know, it's just really effective for me. I think print media is all but dead, but I think this reminds you how important it was, and just how important speaking your mind, and how every voice is important. So yeah, I like this a lot. And so if I had to give it a ranking, I tried to do some research about, because in this episode, Burns became hooked on mole milk, and I tried to do some research on how much milk a mole can make, but I could only find naked mole rats, and a mother naked mole rat produces about 58% of their body weight, and so that's about half an ounce, and so I'm going to give this episode, we'll just say, for the sake of numbers, 0.45 ounces. This is a very solid episode. It's a watch for me, and I think you're right. We should revisit this on the regular, just to kind of think about where we are as a society and how our voices are being heard. So yeah, great to revisit this, and I'm very glad that we did.
I also forgot to mention that Bart in this episode was also one of the only like positive characters for Lisa. Like, he was always by her side.
That's very true, and like he never faltered, never questioned it. And also his joke about the prizes is just great.
Classic, yep.
All right, so those are our thoughts on Fraudcast news. But what will we think of the next episode we'll watch? Well, I don't know, because I don't know what it is. So we need to find out. And to do that, we're going to get our old friend, the Wheel of Random. So let's give it a spin to see which season we're in. Ba-doop. Alrighty, we have season 20.
Ooh, 20. 5 years in the future from this.
Whoa, yeah, you're right. All right, let's give it another spin to see which episode we're watching. Ba-doop. Alrighty, episode 16. Season 20, episode 16. Now, Craig, what do you think the title of that episode is?
Well, of course, this episode, Fraudcast News, is based off of the film Broadcast News, which, of course, was directed and written by James L. Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
And some other fun movies that James L. Brooks has directed. Of course, the huge hit from last year, Ella McKay.
Of course.
But that didn't come out, in season 20, so we can't do a parody of that. That would be silly.
Of course it would be.
He has only directed a few films, of course, Terms of Endearment being his first, and Broadcast News. And then As Good as It Gets, Spanglish, How Do You Do, Terra X History, which was a TV series. I did an episode of that. But I think next week is going to be a parody on the title of his 1994 film called I'll Do Anything. And it'll just say, I'll annoyed grunt anything.
Ooh, I like that. That sounds like a lot of fun, but it is wrong.
Ah, man.
I would like to watch that, but no. Next week's episode is entitled Eeny, Teeny, Maya, Mo. What do you think that's about?
Well, of course, we know Mo is married canonically to the little person named Maya. I just don't think that has anything, of course, to do with this title.
Of course not.
Because I think that Maya is, of course, the singular noun for Mayan, as we all know, right?
Of course.
And Mo is paranoid because 2012 is coming up, and he's afraid that the Mayan calendar is going to be right.
Oh, no.
So he hires Professor Frink to make him travel back in time to the Mayan days, but Frink's machine screws up, and he turns Mo into a minuscule person a la Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Wow.
And so it's it's kind of like maybe like an Apocalypto type parody, but in a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids type of storyline with Mo in the past. And then the B story, Marge and Homer plan Maggie's first birthday.
Okay.
It's not that great of an episode. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I really like it. I think you could have guest star John Cusack and maybe get Rick Moranis out of retirement as guest stars.
All right. Sounds good.
Because he was in 2012, and yeah. That all sounds like a lot of fun, but no, this is what happens. Mo develops an internet relationship with a beautiful woman named Maya. When the two agree to meet face to face, Mo is shocked to discover that Maya is 3 feet tall. Meanwhile, Marge wants Homer to spend more time with Maggie. Homer obliges and finds himself in luck when he discovers a children's play area right next to Moe's Tavern.
Hey, I was close. There was Maggie involved in my story.
That is true, and yeah.
So I know we haven't reviewed this episode. We've reviewed episodes with Maya in it.
Mm-hmm.
But this one I definitely remember because I remember the B story of the daycare center or the playground or something like that, right? That's a children's play area, yeah.
I'm kind of the same boat because I remember Maya, of course, but I more remember the B story and Homer taking Maggie to the play area while he drinks, and it's like, if one of us ever becomes a parent, we're totally going to do that. And I'm not a parent.
But yeah, not so much now because you don't drink anymore. So
that's right.
You haven't gone to the dog park next to the bar, so
yeah.
I mean, what's nice now is like every bar in Portland, you can go in with your dog if you're a dog person. I might be against that, but to each his own.
I'll have you know that I'm also against that. Okay. And as dog parents, we will not take our dogs to anywhere indoors that don't want them, like stores, because I think it's weird and gross.
Unless it's a service animal.
Of course, yeah. All that aside, I'm looking forward to watching Eeny, Teeny, Maya, Mo with you, Craig. And listeners, thank you so much for listening. We love to hear from you, and we love that you listen. And so if you want to reach out to us, you can do it on the socials like the Instagram or the Threads or YouTube at 13simpsons, or you can always email us at 13simpsons@gmail.com.
And don't forget to sign up for our Patreon. It's only $5 a month. That's like, you can't even get a Big Mac for that price.
Mm-hmm.
You can get this content, which has less calories.
And it's never soggy.
We don't have slimy pickles on this podcast.
No. Our pickles are dry as a bone.
We only have cum-breaded fried chicken. Jesus. Yeah, $5 a month. You obviously support this podcast, but then you also will get a bonus podcast every week, which we could either talk about a classic episode of The Simpsons, or we talk about another television show or a movie, or we just sit and discuss Simpsons or other topics that we're interested in. This week, we reviewed a movie starring Albert Brooks called Mother from 1996, because it was Mother's Day this last weekend. So that was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Next week will be a lot of fun as well. So I'll just give you guys a little hint. You might want to take a Dramamine while you listen to our next week's episode.
I guess you could say it's exciting and new.
Patreon.com/AnnoyedGrumpBoys. Please sign up.
Yes, and if you're so kind, go to your favorite podcatching app, leave us 5 stars or the equivalent, and write a review. But you don't have to write an actual review. Just tell us the media empire that you would like to take over and how you would run it.
And don't forget to go to tpublic.com/user/AnnoyedGrumpBoys for your official Annoyed Grump Boy shirts.
All right. Thank you so much again for listening. For this week, I've been Annoyed Grump Boy Steve.
And I've been Annoyed Grump Boy Craig.
And remember, nonviolence never solved anything.
My God, are you always on?
Put in a pot of coffee, drink it, and start making burgers.
Some anniversary this is.